Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes now. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Midweek Social, early, but it's midweek, so we're going to go with it. And joining me today, I have got Claire coming back. Hello, Claire. How are you?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And coming back again, but this time I can see him, although we didn't recognise him. It's Joe. Hello, Joe. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you folks, all right?
Very good, thank you. So, first of all, people can't see it, but you guys saw my face because that "Hey, it's the podcast guy" is never getting old. I don't care how many times I play it. It is literally never getting old. And the fact that he messaged me back with the voice recording after I said it's going to annoy so many people, please do it, it makes it even better.
Always one for a tap-in.
Oh, yeah. So, before we get onto the game, I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys about Wembley. I'll start with Claire first, who really upset my nephew because he was getting a bit annoyed with everyone talking to the podcast guy.
I came bounding up to you on Wembley Way. I just got overwhelmed. It was sorry about. I mean, I'm not going to apologise to Josh for that. That was pure emotion, and I got a lovely selfie. That was our first selfie. Wonderful. Yeah. I mean, the day was insane, absolutely insane, heart-wrenching, absolutely gutting. I think with the outcome, as you know, we all still probably trying to come to terms with that a little bit, but. What an incredible day. Just so amazing to spend it with some really incredible friends. And
the Gandemonium crew.
Yeah, well,
and
those people. Like if that's the kind of party that we have when we lose at Wembley, I really look forward to the party we have when we win at Wembley, because my hangover was significant. And the resulting COVID was also not very nice, but incredible day. Just one for the memories, big time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was saying about the party. It's kind of almost the first time we've really had to celebrate the promotion with the players as well. There's been like little evenings or after games and stuff, but there's never been run sort of designated. Here we go. We're going to have a drink up. So I think there was a lot of that there as well, although I came in, saw everyone I had to see and disappeared very quickly because I know how these things go. So I wasn't hanging about. But if it's possible to have an even better experience at Wembley, surely walking out on to see the pitch at Wembley to the sounds of your own song playing at Wembley Stadium, oh my God, Joe. How was that?
Yeah, I suppose a bit vain, but super crazy and brilliant. Yeah, I always told my mum I'd play at Wembley, so it ticked that box on her birthday. It was. I suppose it was brilliant, really. And I don't know how long I can dine out on it for, because officially, I suppose the song has expired now.
No, I do have something else to say about the song, which was funny, but no, you that's on your posters. You've played at Wembley.
Oh, that is, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll have to retire the song, but I played at Wembley. Yeah.
And did the boy roll his eyes, or?
No, yeah, he regularly rolls his eyes. I mean, probably more at my sort of schoolboyish, schoolgirlish giggling and squealing as it happened, really. rather than the actual moment itself. But yeah, no, it was a surreal moment. It absolutely surreal. And yeah, and thankfully other people captured it better than I did. So I do have a decent recording for, spread.
Well, I do have a recording, but there's me giggling and squealing like a schoolboy as well. So it wasn't even my song. So, but the video I sent you, I wanted to use as my memories of the day. And I sent that video. Great. I put that on TikTok, and for the first time ever on TikTok, I got a copyright violation. I was like, hang on a minute. I've got the freaking the writer, producer, and performer of the song saying "crack on, lad."
Well, funny you should say that, Mike, because I'll see that and I'll raise it because I got one too. Yep, put it up on my SoundCloud, but of course because the club decided that it wasn't a stupid, unofficial bit of fun and decided to go with it and sort of chucked it all out through the avenues. I got this matches. This, that, and the other, and yeah, it turns out that whoever's distributed it did create a page on my behalf and put it up there, and so I got it taken down. It's gone back up since, but yeah, it was a little bit like,
hang on, that's me. I just lost you there, Joe. Sorry.
In the message you have to.
Right,
it doesn't matter whether I'm up and down.
Sorry,
217 or in the
bed. Right, we missed a little bit of that, but I love that. I did. Yeah, we got you. I've had a question come in.
Not even allowed to talk about it now. Is that what it is?
That's the technology. I have got Alan asking how many copies did we sell? Do we know yet? No idea at all. I know that on my SoundCloud before I violated all the copyright laws, it had about 12. God knows. I mean, I think in terms of PRS and all that kind of stuff, and if there's any money to be had, obviously it goes to the club's charity. I think that comes out in about 6 months. They tend to issue some sort of check, but generally not for less than 20 quid or something like that because it costs more than that. Yeah.
So let's hope it done £21, eh?
Yeah, exactly. £20 at 59 would be. But yeah, brilliant day, brilliant memories. I mean, the only thing was on there was Papa J, but we'll play it again, don't worry, in a couple of games, hopefully, because that leads me on to what a brilliant Easter.
What a way to bounce back, eh?
I mean, beautiful, yeah.
I did joke around saying I didn't think it would be a great game against Newport because I was like, well, we've kind of reached maximum crowd at the moment, so we don't want to have too many extra hangers on. It was one for the purists, I think, yesterday. Was it yesterday? Whatever day it was, I've lost it. Yeah. So what were your thoughts on the sort of the announced team sheet? We'll go with yourself first, Joe.
Well, it wasn't terribly surprising, quite honestly, given what, the players we've seen putting in the effort and going down and having to manage their time and minutes. I'm brutally honest, I'm always disappointed to see Omar on the bench rather than starting. But I think, he needed a rest and the impact he had when he came on, I think that shored the game up for us in a bizarre way, putting a striker on, shoring the game up. It's not a very Sutton thing to do, but it worked. And obviously, I thought Barden coming in at right back did a great job as well. He always does, doesn't he? But you forget, I think we take it for granted sometimes exactly what he can do. I thought the lineup was expected. And I thought like you say, it was one for the purists. We ground it out. I think, Louis John's trickery off the goal post is to be admired.
Is that one word for it?
I was going to say about Barden.
Go on.
Yeah. I was going to say about Barden. There was like a 5-10 minute spell. I was sitting there thinking, I swear Dino doesn't like him because he's launched the ball at him a couple of times, really launched it, and he's like, "Whoa, what am I doing with this?" But Claire, what were your thoughts ahead of the game? What
I was, I think probably to say I was slightly worried would have been, me erring on the side of my pessimism. Riding high from Friday, kind of was a bit like, well, we're not going to see that again. It's either going to be like, one really, really dull game, or something that's really, really tasty where we, an absolute goal thriller where we just keep fighting backwards and forwards at each other. Sadly, it was the dull game, but definitely one for the purists is the way to put it. That near own goal calamity was quite frankly just mind-blowing, and I think my heart was in my mouth how I managed to get away with that. Things like that this season have been a few couple of close calls. Wasn't the most exciting game of football to watch. Felt sorry for my mate Nick. Came to her second ever Sutton game, her first trip to GGL. And I'd said to her, if we don't win, you're not allowed to come back. We'll chalk Wembley up as something completely different. But if we don't win this one, you're not coming back. But thankfully for her, Rob's penalty secured that one. But it wasn't the most exciting game of football, and a bit scrappy in places. I thought some of their tactics I thought were quite interesting.
Same as I had my brother-in-law and my nephews came with us, sort of a follow-on from Wembley, and they've just been sitting analysing and poring over the Chelsea Crystal Palace semi-final the day before, and I was like, come on, watch some real football. They did worry because I think Josh hasn't seen us win this season. I think he's seen a couple of draws, but he hasn't seen us win. So he was a little bit worried at one stage and was thinking he might leave. But then, once we scored, apart from, as the club has tweeted, Louis' pinpoint pass off the post to them. Second half, there wasn't a huge amount of pressure. First half, Dean had to make a couple of cracking saves. But second half, I don't... For the pressure they had, I don't remember a great number of chances.
I don't think there were masses. I think there might have been one or two moments where it got a bit tasty in front of goal. But Dino didn't have to make any big saves, I don't think. But...
No, I was worried every time they had a throw-in, I have to say.
That was huge, something else, wasn't it?
Yeah. Arrowed.
I'm glad he got called for a
touch, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm glad he got called for a foul throw.
It was a foul throw every single time.
Yeah, because it's like, come on, there's no way it can travel like that as a normal throw. But I can't even get my hand up behind my shoulder, let alone take a foul. What do I know? You've kind of mentioned one of the men I want to talk about, but firstly, David.
He's a thorn in their side, isn't he?
He was. They were looking forward to seeing him, but it was just tiny half centimetre or so off, with the ball just not coming right to him, the ball being a little bit too far ahead of him, him beating three people, then almost tripping over the ball. Brilliant. He absolutely won the penalty. Was, as you say, falling the side and out there. It was just that little bit. It could, on another day, that game, he could have absolutely terrorised them.
I think, funnily enough, it might have helped him win the penalty. I know that sounds stupid, but I think if he'd have kept the ball with him rather than leave it behind and have to go back a bit, he might have found himself in free flow. Without wishing to sound rude about it, how do you plan for a man without a plan, kind of thing,
True, very, very true. One of the other names to talk about was, as you mentioned, coming off the bench, Omar. And I was convinced he was booked. He was going to be booked for that. It was a brilliant tackle, but I was convinced because it's Omar, he's going to be booked. But what a run and tackle back!
Incredible.
You're watching it from almost in front of me, Joe. And it was a little bit just down the side, and Claire, you're a little bit to the right. But we had a great view of that. That was just an amazing run. Was it 50 yards? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And would love the guy anyway. I thought we could see him warming up for about 20 minutes, thinking he's going to get on soon. And then, I think Ben actually got stripped off before him, and you think, no, they're holding him back. But obviously, glad he did.
Yeah, no, I actually said, because the brother-in-law was saying, why wasn't he brought on earlier? And I said, well, it's one of those things that they do switch with each other, and one of them just batters the team for sort of 70 minutes, and the other one comes on to with fresh legs and batter the team for the next 20 or so. But I did think about the subs that it must have been holding a couple back. And then I felt really smug when Matt said it in the after interview. I was like, yeah, I got something right again. I'm getting good at this. But hard job now, guys. I would like some nominations for the Player of the Day. So just a reminder, it can be for any reason you like. So I'm going to stick Omar in for that particular run. So it can be for anything you like. And I'm looking for a couple more nominations, or 3 more nominations between us. Claire, do you want to go first?
I'm going to stick Dino in. Because I'm a broken record and I like to do that every time. Just because, a couple of cracking saves. And when my heart is in my mouth, he seems to be the person that's saving my heart rate, or creating it sometimes. Let's be honest, on this occasion. And I guess got to put Rob in there for our little penalty that gives us the game. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. Joe, who do you think?
Claire's just stolen my 2.
Okay.
No, that's okay. No, if you want to stick a 4th one in there, I think toss up between John and Ali. It's great to see them both. Like I say, I think John gets taken for granted sometimes, and just good to see Ali back. But John Barden, I think, chuck him in there. Because he did a cracking job.
He didn't even need to do up his shoelaces this week. I think he deserves nominations just for the shoelaces. But yeah, Alan agrees. Alan said that Omar was a difference maker for in the second half for sure. Just shores it up that little bit. But now with good timing, we're going to just move on to the next match. Barrow away, which a couple of weeks ago was an absolute banker. And joining us now is Taylor, who's a Barrow supporter. Hiya, Taylor. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Yourself?
Very well, thank you. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and your sort of history with Barrow and why you support them.
So I was born in Barrow, in fairness. Live here. I've grown up in Barrow. They're my local team. I used to live not too long away from the ground, about a 5-10 minute walk. Barrow's such a small place, you can get to the ground not too long anyway. So it's about 5-minute drive these days. I've supported them since I was about 7 or 8. Used to go to the odd game, and then I've just sort of ended up going every week for the last 5 or 6 years, something like that. And I've just that's how it's been. I just absolutely love it. It's been being a Barrow fan. It is very difficult. It's not the easiest. We have our ups and downs, especially this season. But yeah, season ticket holder, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
There's lots there that we like about you already. So, so the season this year, leaving aside the last couple of weeks, below expectations, or did you expect to struggle a little bit?
Yeah, I think this season we wanted to kick on a little bit. Obviously, we came up last season and it was a struggle. We just about did enough to survive. I think we were a bit fortunate that there were 2 very, very poor teams in Southend and Grimsby. And we survived through that, I would say, rather than our own merits. Although we were certainly helped by Rob Kelly, who proved to be a bit of a hero for us. We have a bit of a mantra, Kelly's Heroes, based off the film. And he kept us up. And this season we brought in Mark Cooper, and I think a lot of people thought with his experience that we'd be able to kick on. But we started brilliantly, and the first couple of months of the season we were pushing sort of top half. I think it was sort of September, October time, we were playing Port Vale and we were 1-0 up at half time. And at that point we were pushing sort of top of the playoffs, sort of around 4th or 5th place. And then in the second half, we completely capitulated, ended up losing that game. And from that point onwards, we've just had a downward spiral and not managed to sort it out at all. And from then, it's been a massive struggle, and we've sort of gone down and down and down. And we've ended up sort of in the same position we were 12 months prior. And by the last few weeks, it's looked as though we could be going down. But as you say, sort of over this Easter period, we've sort of had a bit of a resurrection. And hopefully we're now over the line. I would want to say, and we're going to hopefully have another season in League Two.
Yeah, I mean, Phil Brown was a bit of a genius move. I mean, people were at the time a bit worried, obviously with what happened with Southend last year. What were your thoughts ahead of his appointment?
Yeah, it was a bit of an odd one, I do have to admit. Obviously, there was a bit of debate within the fans saying whether it was the right decision to get rid of Mark Cooper or if we could have just held out until the end of the season. I wasn't disappointed that he was leaving, but I did question whether now was the right time to do it. Obviously, there's a reason every manager's available at this point in the season. They're not just going to be out of a job for no reason, sort of towards the back end of the season. So Phil Brown obviously came in, he took Southend down, obviously put up a massive fight, you have to say, to try and keep them up. But he was in a difficult position. They looked gone by the time he came in, I have to say. But I think I did have my questions and doubts about him. The first few games under his management, obviously 3 straight losses, didn't help himself out at all. A very, very poor performance against Crawley. And then obviously we came into the Forest Green game and I have absolutely no idea what happened. It was just incredible. We went from a team not scoring goals. I think we scored about more than 1 goal in 2 of our last 27 or something ridiculous like that. And then we go and hit them for 4. So, and then obviously follow that up with an excellent performance yesterday against Salford, where we were very, very unfortunate not to get another 3 points. So something's obviously happened in the last week or so, but he's done brilliantly. And whether he's the right man to lead us forward, I'm not 100%. I saw it as a short-term appointment when he came in, and I still see it as a short-term appointment. I don't think he'll be here for next season. I think his appointment is more so a way of someone experienced coming in who's had plenty of experience in the EFL to come in and tell us what we need to do, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and then hopefully we can learn from what he has to say and then put that into practice next season and then start to build on things rather than being in this position again in 12 months' time again. And hopefully that will be his experience and knowledge will be put to practice next season, and hopefully we can use that to build going forward.
Excellent. And thoughts on Saturday's game? Obviously, probably all thrown out the window. No idea at the moment. But first thing we need to check: there's no pitch inspection plan for like 10 to 3 or anything like that, is there?
I wouldn't imagine so. I think it's been a week up here, so.
But yeah, what's your thoughts ahead of the game? Which Barrow are we going to see?
I'd love to say, but honestly, like as I say, the last couple of games we've been a completely different side, so it could be a flip of a coin again, and we could revert back to how we were. But
we'd like that very much, thank you.
Well, I think if you asked me a few weeks ago, with absolutely no disrespect to yourselves, because obviously you've had a brilliant season, I think out of the fixtures we had left, we saw you guys as our best chance of getting any points from the remaining games that we had. So obviously now that we got some, maybe we'll switch off a little bit. I hope not, but yeah, I think it'll be a difficult game because obviously you have a lot to play for as well. You're pushing for the playoffs, and I have to say I really do hope you get them. It'd be a fantastic achievement if you guys can manage it. I think I had a really good conversation with some Sutton fans not too long before the end of the 2019-20 season when the pandemic first hit. Just before that was our last away game before the season ended up finishing, and there was a very honest conversation I had with some of your fans about how the money was being put into the club, how you work with what you have got. You haven't got too much, but you work with what you've got. And I always remember that, because you have obviously put the money that you've got, you've obviously used it fantastically, and you're not just throwing money at it, and it's good to see. But
I don't have any money.
A tenner in the bank.
Yeah, you'll hear the new favourite chant is "We're going up with a tenner in the bank."
But it's a massive game for both of us, I think. Obviously, you'll probably come in as the favourites with your league position and whatnot. But I do think we can get something. The last couple of games have really shown to me that we've turned a corner. And again, as I say, I hope that same team can come out and show that they've got what it takes again. But if we play like we have the last couple of games, then I do fancy our chances to get a result. But I think it'll be a very, very, very tough game. But going off what I've seen from Sutton this season, obviously in the reverse fixture, I think we were very unfortunate not to get something there. I don't think it was your greatest performance, I have to say. But obviously, you are in that position for a reason. You managed to grind out the 3 points. So hopefully, you again don't show up, and then this time, hopefully, we can actually take advantage and end up with more than nothing to show for it.
Well, that's actually lead on to the question I was going to ask these guys: which Sutton is going to turn up? Do you reckon, Claire?
I think Taylor's hit the nail on the head. To be honest, I think we've both got so much to play for two very different reasons, and we're there thinking that we can try and make some kind of absolute fairy tale happen this season. And yeah, it will. I think it'll be a tough game, especially as you say, if you carry on with the form that you've had over the last week. You can't really argue either way. It could be. I think it's going to be so hard to call. I'm going to sit on the fence firmly, Mike. Sorry. I'd really like to think it will be a really, in a complete opposite of yesterday, a really exciting game to watch, with both of us going, full throttle at it. I hope so anyway, because it's a bloody long way to come for disappointment, quite frankly.
It is.
I think set pieces are going to be very key. Joe, what are your thoughts?
If you'd have asked me yesterday after 6 pints and full of adrenaline, then yeah, we were going to go there and we were going to win every game and go straight up. Because, but yeah, no, with hindsight and clarity, I'll join Claire on the fence. It really could be anything, couldn't it? I still, the romanticist in me still thinks that and I've made the mistake of looking at the remaining fixtures and for the others, and Exeter playing Port Vale and Northampton, and yeah, so yeah, we win and we win the rest of them and we go up, and then I don't have to worry about trying to go to Wembley on Swanage Day.
I just gonna say, Gab Sutton was saying, "Oh, you guys could possibly even sneak into the autos," and I was like, "Do you know what? I'm not being funny and I'm not being all wonderful, but technically, as of this moment, we could still have the title. All that we need to do is win every game, all the others lose, and a 20-goal swing. That is all we need."
Taylor's boys started it for us, gave us the goal swing against Forest Green. They started.
Yeah,
you're slipping into the realms of fantasy there, Joe. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't go there. It was Mike. I just led him. No, listen. I would be. Well, easy to say now. I wouldn't be surprised if it did play out as a draw, but hopefully for everyone concerned, a more thrilling draw than those that we might have seen in the past.
Very reasonable. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to thank you all for your time. I will leave it there with the thoughts of a dull 0-0 draw ringing in our ears. At least Taylor only has to go 5 minutes up the road, so he's not going to care too much about that. But thank you for your time, for your thoughts. Thank everyone for listening. Hit me up on any of their socials at Sutton Podcast and let me know what you think. So take care, and I've got Sarah and Dan on Sunday, hopefully after the Barrow match. So take care. Thanks a lot for everyone. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks, folks. Take care.
See ya.
United!